Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
4. I am. I can't wait to break down. This is like it's like the next major, right? I mean, this is how exciting this tournament can be. What do you think?
Okay. Be entertaining. You know, if you got 2-on-2, you can follow a lot of the guys that you like. You can have some pretty funny moments on the course. The interaction is, of course, really good. But as far as a betting perspective, you're treading light if you're doing anything at all. This week, you go back and look at some of the guys that have done good here, and doesn't make any sense. But it feels like the partnership kind of throws a lot of the stats out the window. Like some of these guys, it doesn't matter what their greens and regulation have been, but when they play with this guy that they're really comfortable with, all of a sudden they just play really good. I mean, Rahm and Palmer are just always going to be partners here. It's such a you would never ever guess that. But the course that they're playing this week, I don't know particularly well. It's about 7,400 yards, and of course, with the you're doing alternate shot, and with partners, they can just tear it up. So -4, -5 is normally the cut. So look for some really, really low scores. But as far as predicting outright winners and stuff, it's tough. It's one of the tougher ones of the year.
Don't worry, I got that all dialed down for us, so I'll get to that soon. I have that winner circled for you, Andy. Before we get into that, let's take care of a little business, as always. We do have a promo code available for viewers. Zurich 20 takes $20 off this tournament package for either Andy or myself over at WagerTalk.com. So get all 4 days of coverage, outrights, leaderboards, head-to-heads. Andy's always got his daily fantasy in there as well. So $20 off, normal price of $39. Get it for just $19 over at WagerTalk.com. All right, before we get into the breakdown of this week, let's always, as we like to, start off talking a little bit about last week, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So our worst bets and our best bets from last week at the RBC Heritage. Andy, I always like to start with you. How ugly was your worst, and how great was your best?
Well, overall, it was it's a week I dream of. 3-1 plus 5 units for clients. If I can do that every week, I will be a rich man very soon. So, best bet was Tommy Fleetwood, top 40. We grabbed that one at -125. I got off to a really slow start, hit a couple balls in the water, but sneaks into the cut. Well, he doesn't really sneak into the cut. He gets done early on Friday, and he ends up almost inside the top 40 after a bad start, and then cruises to a top 10 finish. So cash that one. And worst bet, he bit both of us. Dustin Johnson over Patrick Cantlay. Not even close. Like DJ tees it up and is immediately in the water. Doesn't even come close to getting anywhere near Patrick Cantlay. But overall, 3-1. I'll take it.
Yeah, 3-1's always a good week. You're right about DJ. I had him. It's even worse for me. I had him as a 5%, which was only my third 5% of the year for golf, and he missed the cut. I mean, one shot, and I'm praying to get that one shot. At least he makes the cut, and then who knows what he makes a run over the weekend. He can sneak backdoor into that top 20. But very frustrating to not even have a chance. My best bet was not a winner. It was Shane Lowry, 25-1. He had the lead on 14, on 13, I guess, and then he doubles 14, ends up coming up one shot short. That was very tough to watch, very frustrating. And he had a chance to make birdie on any of the last 4 holes to get into that playoff, but couldn't do it. And then I had Sung Jae Im, top 20. He finished tied for 21st. Then I had Lowry over Cantlay, one shot short again. So the outright one shot short, the head-to-head matchup one shot short, the top 20 one shot short, and DJ. All right, it was way off, but it was one shot short of making the cut and give us a chance. So golf sucks.
Well, I gotta say one thing about these guys that barely sneak into the cut. These top 20s and top 40s are like they're not dead. If your guy sneaks into the cut, they almost have an advantage. They get out in the morning, and if you have calm conditions. These guys, you see it week in and week out. These guys that sneak into the cut, all of a sudden they fly up the leaderboard. And if there's wind in the afternoon, they all of a sudden are inside the top 25 just after Saturday. So you're right. It's just like, please make the cut. Just give me a shot. Anything can happen on the weekend. So yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah. And DJ, he failed to do that for me. But got to put that week behind us. Move on. Hopefully we can listen. I always say it for outrights. I just want a chance come Sunday. I had it this week. Didn't work out. It's not going to work out every single week. So that's the goal. We'll try it again this week. Just give me a chance on Sunday. So I know, Andy, you mentioned how difficult this week can be to predict outright winners, but let's take a look at our favorite graphic that we like to start off the shows with, the top 10 total strokes gained. So this one took a little manual work on my part. So I was able to get the top 10 strokes data on the individual players, but I actually had to do math and add the two players together and make sure that the top 10 was right and I didn't miss a guy that was somewhere else. So I think this is pretty accurate. And you can see the lists. It's who you'd expect to be up there. Of course, you got the two top 5 players in the world pairing together, the young guns, Hovland and Morikawa, leading the way by quite a large margin as far as strokes gained data. This is top 10 total strokes gained over the last 6 months, plus 3.69, very impressive. Then you got the defending champs, the Aussies, Cam Smith and Leishman, 3.15. Cantley and Schauffele, who just can't seem to find a way to win. Cantley close again, and Schauffele just isn't getting there. So I don't like that pairing as an outright winner. Horschel and Burns, a lot of experience together in this competition, and the other the fall ones. Scheffler pair with Palmer. No John Rahm, as you mentioned earlier, this year. So Palmer had to play as somebody. So he gets the other now he gets the other number 1 player in the world, right? So Palmer, amazing. I don't know. He's like, who's the best player in the world? I'll play with you. Fleetwood, Garcia, Lowry, Poulter, still a little salt there. Varner, Watson, Guchoma, Neiman, Pereira as your top 10 total strokes gained. As you mentioned before, it may not mean anything this week with the chemistry and the nuances of this event, but we had to start somewhere. So those are the guys that are at least playing the hottest coming in. So let's break down a little bit of this tournament, the fields, the format. Both of us don't have a lot of knowledge on the course itself other than what you can find, online. But go ahead, Andy. What do you want the viewers to know about the tournament itself, the format or the field?
I don't know. I don't have a great answer for that. It's just lower your betting units this week. I feel like this is a week to have fun with bets as opposed to really do some damage increasing your bankroll. Of course, like we've noticed, there's a ton of bunkers, but I just don't know how the stats really correlate with alternate shot and some of the other things. It's just a week, quite frankly, that if I have any action, it's just going to be one, maybe 2 small plays if you get, and maybe a daily if you get a good read on a partnership that's not vibing or anything like that. You possibly could do that. So, but as far as the course goes, I just know they're going to go really low. It's not that difficult of a course as you'll see. So it'll be fun for the players. But that's about all I know, Nick, on this one.
Well, I'll fill in the missing pieces there. The format, first of all, it's the biggest field on the PGA Tour of the year, 82-man team, so 160 players in the field. 4-ball on Thursday and Saturday. I work in the golf business, and I still have to look up the difference between 4-ball and foursomes because I always forget. So I don't know why they don't call it the other way. But 4-ball is better ball, so that's where these guys are going to go low on Thursday and Saturday. And then you have the much tougher format of foursomes, better known as alternate shot, on Friday and Sunday. Top 33 make the cut for the weekend. So team event, especially in better ball, most of these teams are professionals, will be able to post that low score. And you're probably going to see some surprising names on the leaderboard because, no matter where they rank, they're still pros and they're still going to make a ton of birdies. So you probably have some surprises on that day one. So I would say if you're looking to bet anything round one leaders, take a flyer. I think there's a good chance that somebody you're not expecting could be there. After day two, however, that's where the cream of the crop usually rises to the top. I mean, alternate shot, there's no hiding anything. You're working one shot each, alternating all the way through the round. So one bad shot, you're screwing your partner. You got to be on your game to make up for that. And a lot of these, lesser named or guys you don't hear from a lot probably aren't going to be able to hang on too long during the alternate shot. So take a chance on maybe some round one bets on first round leader or leaderboard bets. I think that's where you can make some exciting calls, I guess you could say, or some long shot calls. But when it gets to the end of the 4 days, because there's 2 rounds of alternate shot, I don't really see much of a long shot coming through here. I think it'll be one of the top players in the world, the pairings, at least with at least one of the top players in the world, just purely because of that alternate shot format. It's very difficult. I've played in them. If you're playing bad, there's no making up for your partner, and it's very difficult. And it tries on you as a team as well. When one guy sucks, the other guy just can't carry him on long enough. So take a chance on those round ones. You mentioned the course already, 100 bunkers, a decent amount of water on the property. Really, the big report is that the rough has not been growing, so it's barely reaching 2 inches in most locations. So I think we'll see a lot of drivers, especially in that better ball where guys are just bombing it with the other guy, hopefully in play ahead of them. So take a look at some of the longer teams out there. And Andy, I think you nailed on the head. I think a lot of this week is going to be chemistry. A lot of these guys, I would say it's probably a split field of people that are either have played in this event and been partners before in this event, maybe a Ryder Cup, maybe other types of events, or they're just buddies and they play all their practice rounds together. They're friends outside of the tour schedule. So look for that. Those chemistries tend to work versus the guys that are, I don't know, paired up by their agents, or they just sign up in the field and don't have a partner and get paired up anyway. So do pay attention to how these guys are paired up to have an understanding of the chemistry. So let's get into some of the bets for the week. I'll start off with an outright selection I'm looking at, which is right up near the top. I'm avoiding the first 3. I can make an argument against all of them. Morikawa, Hovland, first time together. Smith, Leishman, very hard to repeat. Cantley, Schauffele. Neither one of them just seem to be able to win. So that leads me to Billy Horschel and Sam Burns. Right now, 13-1. Horschel's won this event before, twice actually. He won it in 2013 when it was a regular stroke play event, individuals, and then he won it in the current format in 2018 with Scott Piercy. He's got 6 finishes of 21st or better in his last 8 starts, including a runner-up among 3 top 10s. He ranks 12th in scoring average and 26th in birdie average. And that's the one I'm kind of zoning in on with a lot of stats this week is birdie average, because that's going to be the key. You got to make a lot of birdies in this competition, especially on those 2 better ball days. Of course, Burns already won twice on tour this season. Also very important, he ranks number 7 in birdie average. So I think that, again, that's going to be a big factor this week. My favorite part of this pairing is their skill sets really do complement each other, which I think will show itself in the alternate shot. So you got Horschel. He ranks 29th strokes gained off the tee, 10th strokes gained putting, and 28th strokes gained around the green. His only weakness is approach, where he ranks 112th. So enter Sam Burns, who ranks number 10 in that category, while he's also a solid 32 in strokes gained putting. So putting's key here. People are going to be trying to make a lot of birdies. So you got 2 guys ranked in the top 32 putting, and then you got a couple players, or Horschel good off the tee and around the green. You got Burns really good with his approach shots. I think it's a pretty cool way to play that alternate shot. Hopefully that works out. And then these 2 did just finish runner-up in the QBE shootout in December. Not official event, but another partner event. So they have chemistry together, and they played together last year. So I think that's a good pairing this week, and I think they'll be up there come Sunday. So that's my my favorite outright of the week. Andy, guys, or I guess teams this week that can trip you up. Who are you avoiding this week?
Tough one this week, as I have to handicap teams that I'm looking to fade. Last week we did okay. We talked about Daniel Berger, a guy that could trip you up. He finished 21st, so that was pretty good. Talked about Cameron Smith. He misses the cut. And we talked about fading Stuart Sink, who is not good. This week, I'm just going to start with Hovland and Morikawa. There is just no way I'm taking a favorite at this tournament. There's no way. They are plus 650 on DraftKings to win this tournament.
That's
no,
crazy.
thank you. No, thank you. I know their stats are great. I know that they're great players, but just because you're great at singles does not mean that this week they're going to have the chemistry to win a partners tournament. There's no value whatsoever in this. There's just way more value in guys down the right. So just the price alone makes it players that can trip you up. Will Zalatoris and Davis Riley, our old buddy Davis Riley, who has been a great fade. The free play last week we did was Joel Damon over Davis Riley. Riley finished plus 13. So Nick, you talked about a partner that can drag the other one down. This is it. Zalatoris should be good, but Riley might be the anchor that brings them down. So Zalatoris can only do so much. There's no way I would want to put any money on a team with Davis Riley. And then the last one, Bubba Watson and Harold Varner. Nick, where did this bromance come from? Like it started at Saudi Arabia when Bubba's ahead. Varner hauls out. Bubba does the run into the arms of Varner to congratulate him. I don't understand. Now they're partners at the Zurich. Varner played in this last year. His team missed the cut. Bubba has been bad the last 4 tournaments. Missed cut, 68th, missed cut, 39th. So I want nothing to do with Bubba and Varner. So I'm staying away from Havana Morikawa. I'm staying away from Zalatoris and Davis Riley, and I'm definitely staying away from Bubba Watson and Harold Varner.
Yeah, I like all those plays, or not playing those plays. Havana Morikawa, you're right. Price is just too steep there. And Riley, you turned me on to him a couple weeks ago as a great fade, and you've been dead on the money there. He's been bad. So good calls there for sure. I'll go with my next preview as a top 10 or top 20. So a leaderboard bet. You can take them either way you like them. I think the English duo of Danny Willett and Tyrrell Hatton have a chance to do well this week. The thing I like most about these guys is that they both have fantastic short games. Willett ranks number 2 on tour strokes gained around the green. Hatton number 1 strokes gained putting. So we know most of the teams in this field can make a bunch of birdies and go low on the better ball rounds, but being able to scramble and save par is a huge advantage during that alternate shot. So I think that's maybe where they can do their most damage, or at least not falter as much as some of the other guys this week. So I think that's kind of the area I'm targeting these guys on. Creeping up the leaderboard is on on day 2 and day 4. Hatton ranks number 32 in scoring average, number 11 total strokes gained. Willett's made the cut in 5 of the last 6, including a tie for 12th at the Masters, but he's past winner there. Past winners tend to do well. So these two did play together last year as well. Finished tied for 8th, so they do have the team chemistry going for them as well. But top 10 plus 275, top 20, which is where I really like it this week. Gives you a little extra room for air. Plus 120, I think, is a pretty good price there on the all-English duo of Willett and Hatton. I'm sure this will be an exciting group to watch. Andy, let's go back to you. Your DraftKings Darlings. I'm very interested to hear what you're doing on DraftKings this week.
We may have an impromptu free bet here, Nick, for everybody. I just talked about fading. I just talked about fading Zalatoris and Riley. You just pumped up Hatton and Willett on DraftKings at minus 110. You can play Hatton and Willett over Zalatoris and Riley.
No shit. That's the actual matchup right there.
That's the matchup. Great price.
Our co-op, our co-op free play matchup.
Absolutely. I love that play. That's a really good one. You sold me on the short games. Those are great. All right, let's do DraftKings Darlings. Believe it or not, I wasn't great on DraftKings Darlings, but I still cashed. We had Anirban Lahiri, who made the cut. Now, he faded on the weekend, but he did get you points. We talked about Sepp Straka. He finished his 3rd. And Dylan Fratelli, he did make the cut. He faded on the weekend. I won because my opponent had 3 players miss a cut, and I had Lowry and Straka. They both tied for 3rd, which is huge points. So that brings me to 7-2 on the season since we started doing these. DraftKings, trying to put a DraftKings lineup in this week is very hard. So we'll start with Bazudenhout and Charles Schwartzel. Charles Schwartzel, he played good last year with Oosthuizen. The South African duo played really good. They finished top 5. He played good at the Masters. And when you're looking for chemistry, it seems like Schwartzel has something. So they have the bond and with the South African bond, and I don't want to bet against them. So I'll put them in my lineup. They're only 7,300, I believe. Next one, Poulter and Lowry at 8,800. I mean, Poulter in a partners format with Lowry, who's been playing great. They're going to be up there. So I would take them as well. And then here's a weird one. Stenson and Rose. There's just something kind of weird about him. Stenson played really good last year at this. His team finished 15 under par. And Justin Rose and Henrik Stenson, longtime friends. Stenson has actually shown a little bit glimpse of hope recently. He did make the cut at the last tournament, and they're only 7,400. So I think I can start a lineup with Schwartzel and Bezuidenhout, Stenson and Rose, and Lowry and Poulter. So I think you guys can go there. And then honestly, I'm probably not going to put a DraftKings lineup in this week. I like my 7-2 record, and I think it's just going to be tough. If you're going to play it, just play it low dollar this week. But those are 3 that I would start with, and then use your imagination and go from there.
I love it. Still salty about Lowry, but he's playing very, very well. And Poulter is always great in the Ryder Cup and any type of team event. He's got tons and tons of experience. So those are definitely 2 that I would go. And I actually was looking at Schwartzel and Bezuidenhout as well as like a leaderboard bet, a top 20 type of a bet, because they have a pretty long price. So I didn't look at Stenson and Rose, but I did. I'm going to take a look now. But Schwartzel and Bezuidenhout, South Africans, I was looking at as well. So definitely some good choices there from you, Andy. Let's get into our best bets for this tournament. I'm going to go with a matchup, which, these matchups, we already gave out a free one by accident. So there you go. Here's another one I'll go with, and that is the exciting pairing of Brendan Todd and Chris Kirk over Graham McDowell and Seamus Power. So Todd, he's a name we haven't heard much from this year, but he's a steady grinder. He's got 10 cuts made in 15 events, including finishing tied for 8th at the Valero, tied for 26 last week at the RBC Heritage. So he's cashing paychecks, but you just never really hear about him because he's not like, on the first page of the leaderboard by any means. He's very accurate off the tee. Always one of the best putters on tour, which again I mentioned earlier is important this week. He currently ranks number 5 strokes gained putting. So listen, alternate shot, get your guy in play, let him do some damage, make some putts in either format. It's a pretty good combo there. Kirk, on the other hand, he's a tee to green specialist. He ranks number 9 strokes gained tee to green this year. His only weakness is, of course, putting. So hopefully Todd can pick him up in that category. You get Todd off the tee, you get Kirk lighting up the greens, and you get Todd putting it in the hole. I don't know. It seems like it could work. So 2 skill sets that hopefully complement each other. And then if we look at McDowell, he's been hot or cold in 2022. Literally every start in 2022, which has been 8 of them, he's alternated miscut with a made cut. And, of course, he made the cut last week at RBC Heritage, so it's almost guaranteed that he's going to miss the cut this week. Doesn't matter. It's part of an event. It's just history has proven that's the case. So I'll ride that wave. His best statistic this year ranks 37th driving accuracy. Best strokes gain category is number 87, strokes gain putting. So he's really outside of the top 100 in pretty much every statistical category this year. And then Seamus, he's been a hard read. He was red hot in the beginning of 2022. Then the wheels fell off, 3 straight miscuts in February and March. But then he's since rebounded with some good results at the Players, Match Play, and the Masters. But what I don't like about this pairing is that both players have poor short games, and just that really worries me for that alternate shot format. So making just a couple bogeys could be the difference for them in making the weekend or not. So I'll go Brendan Todd and Chris Kirk right now, even money, over McDowell and Power. Andy, your best bet of the week, what you got?
I got to give you credit. That was amazing. Like, Kirk gets it on the green. Todd puts it in the hole.
I think I blacked out.
I never heard anyone that confident in Brendan Todd and Chris Kirk. Congratulations. That was awesome.
Thank you.
For my best bet, we mentioned in DraftKings Darlings, I'm going to play Shane Lowry and Ian Poulter to make the cut. It's minus 165, yet I find it a value. They're the eighth favorite to win this. So if they're the 8th favorite to win, I would assume they would make the cut. I just love the chemistry that they're going to have. These guys are going to be good. They have all the tools to do well here. They can go low. They're great from from around the green. Lowry, well, with the exception of one hole last week from Lowry. But other than that, he's been pretty good. And Poulter, as we all know, in this kind of setting is really good. So it's a little bit juicy, but I'll be playing it myself for them just to make the cut. And I got to say, Nick, we talked at the beginning of the year about the juicy plays and the juicy props, and they've been hitting.
Yep.
They have just been hitting. I have had so much success with these that I'm now kind of looking more towards some of these plays, to juice. Alex Noren was like minus 165 or minus 160 to be the top Swedish player. He cashes that again. So I'm not scared anymore to lay this juice. In fact, I'm gravitating more towards it. So the juice doesn't worry me. I'll take Lowry, Poulter to make the cut.
Long as the juice is worth the squeeze, as they say, when you've been proven, that's so far the case. Listen, I'm going to take the Lowry and Poulter bet myself. I'll give you full credit, which I always do, because whenever I steal your bet, I have to give you credit, and I'm stealing that one because that's a very good price on them to make the cut. I agree 100%. So good luck with that to both of us. Let's end the show with our promo code mentioned again this week. We have the Zurich 20 as the promo code. You get $20 off this week's pack for either Andy or myself. Normally priced at $39. Get it for just $19. Next week, I had to look it up. I just looked it up because I always screw up the sign up. We have the Mexico Open. Okay, so we will be back next week, Andy, to preview the Mexico Open. We're only a couple tournaments away from the next major, though, so be ready. And then we got the Wells Fargo in 2 weeks, which is a pretty big event. So Mexico Open next week. I look forward to being back with you. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Good luck with your wagers this week, and we will see you next week.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.